Okay, last installment here, guys. Brian, in this case, maybe others will see this, I don't know. So for this third video, we'll take off where we left off. We're just talking about the distance, okay? You want to move in a way that you're not detected, okay? You want to use angles that you are comfortable with and capable of employing your weapons from, okay? And at this point, your strikes are weapons, okay? You're not going to try to jab, 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 okay? You're going to be trying to hit to break what you hit. And in order to do that, it brings us to our next point. And this happens a lot in real conflict. If you ever watch, again, these are things that people sometimes find them entertaining. I don't. People get hurt. People get really brained. They get killed sometimes. You watch these fighting things like convict fights and stuff. I do not advocate anybody watching stuff like that unless you have a good reason. And I will say this, that I watch these things. I watch documented knife attacks and other such things to do my research. I do not enjoy it. I do not get entertainment value from it. And I will tell you that guys who are a little bit more aggressive and tough have a slightly different problem sometimes, and that is they close the gap so quickly that they sort of compress into the other opponent, okay? You got to be aware of that. Your understanding and footwork, the way you move into that position, has to allow you to really aggressively not only uproot the person that you're coming into, but maintaining your own solidity, okay? You do not want to get to a point where you bang up against him and fall down, okay? If you do, by the way, quick rejoinder here, go right to where his feet are, okay? Don't go try to get away from him. Go right to where his feet are. If you're falling, he'll fall over you. If you've fallen, simply grab his feet and go forwards, okay? He cannot make that attack with a knife if he cannot stand as he's cutting you, okay? But don't be in that position, okay? When you are coming into that area, know your weapons at that point that are attacking his center, okay? And be aware of how to use them effectively, okay? If you notice, I'm not talking about any attacks in this video. That's really, it's the things that we do. It's our kempo, okay? Our dakin, kopo, our shito, okay? And other such things, okay? The point is how to get there and what to do with it, okay? These are things where you're making strikes right along the vital parts as much as you can. The eyes, the throat, mostly the throat. The eyes are there. If he's attacking you and he comes towards you, you can put where his eyes are going, but you cannot aim. You don't want to really aim for the eyes. You could grab and attack the eyes, okay? Those are things you can do. You can also get his back, okay? This is a big one. When you get his back, this is the other thing. If you're at his center and you sort of get it this clash and you've hit, okay? If you get his back and you put his head right in your chest and drop down, you will break his neck, okay? It'll snap forwards. So these are the distance and timing issues, okay? And what people do is they panic. They start to put their hands up. Now, your hands are getting slashed. Your body will soon follow. Okay, they start to turn around. Now your kidneys are getting destroyed and your lungs deflated, okay? They try to scream thinking that maybe that will stop the person. It never does. It incites them. With predators, unfortunately, once you get into that cycle to the point where even somebody, you do hear people say, he was a nice guy. Actually, sometimes they were. But once they're at that stage, nobody can really pull them out. They have to go. They're too far gone that way. You're not going to get their sympathy at that point. It's not going to work, unfortunately. Your chokes, if you're very good, can actually be utilized, but you got to be very good with them because you have to really understand your distance with that knife, what he can and cannot do. And people can do a lot when they want to cut you, okay? So these are some things to understand. And again, let's stop where we started with a knife. What is a more deadly attack? A trained attack or from somebody who's just really determined? Something to think about. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is we're continuing our Chinese methods, Chinese medicine stuff. So we're going to talk about specific points and the lung meridian. The lung meridian, okay, is the first point on the lung here that we're talking about today. It's often called the treasury, okay? It's just off from conception vessel. And what this point does is it controls the sort of pneumatic pressure in the lungs, your ability to cough, to take air in and out, okay? It's used aggressively being hit by the thumb, okay, which will precede the person being thrown. The effect being to take their air out so that the throw is maximized, or it's often used in combination. You hit here, boom, and you can attack. There's all kinds of other points here that are used in combination with the lung, the first lung point, the treasury here, okay? It's usually attacked from an angle because of its position on the body. Okay, we often use a boshiken like a stabbing movement, okay? In this case, you're coming at an arc. One way to accentuate that is, as you do that arc, is to, at the last second as you're making contact, you tilt your head. Now you have an extra weight driving this tip of your thumb into that target, okay? And it's done fast and organically. You're not just kind of, okay? What you're doing is, bam, okay? You're hitting off of it and then immediately, bam, going into your next strike. So you might hit, lung, bam, hit, and drop the person, concuss, by pushing the head down and smashing it on the ground. If you want to be more humane, okay, once you hit this, okay, instead of the head being smashed onto the ground, you can just simply use a wrist lock. You can take them down in other fashions. You don't necessarily have to concuss the head, okay? You could simply throw them on their back, all right? You could, it's often used in conjunction with an yakyu, okay? So omote yakyu, okay? Koregaishin aikido, I guess, this, okay? You're taking him here, and to get this here, you use this, okay? In Kotoryu, Kopojutsu, and you're here, you actually drop over him. So now he's here as you smash him down onto the ground, and that's usually followed by an attack here to push the head back and down. And again, when you do these techniques, you're over the person and down. You're not trying to do this, okay? That doesn't really... You have this, which is some force, but it's different than this, where you're basically taking and you're manipulating his structure so that his head is falling back and he can't control it, and you're aiding its trajectory down. Big difference in effectiveness. So I sent you some materials on this point. It is our first point that we're going to be looking at. And again, you can hit it with any multiple things. Always try to use with Shito Jitsu, okay? Try to use smaller, concentrated areas to strike. You'll get more effectiveness, okay? Thumbs, tips, okay? Even if you're using a knuckle, one knuckle, okay? You can punch this way. You can punch actually using this, okay, to the xiphoid and things, you know, when you develop enough hand conditioning, okay? Anyway, those are our 3 topics, and anyway, I'm going to put these on the channel we have, and I'll be sending them to our drive, Brian. We'll